When we think of 2017, we've really been on a journey. And our journey starts with CMAA, but in a different way than most. 2017 was a tough year for many of us. Mother Nature, as well as many other disasters, not in clubs, as well as personally, affected many of us in the CMAA community. But I can tell you, I am so proud of this CMAA community because I saw time after time where the CMAA community came together to help those clubs in need, whether it be flood, fire, hurricane, or some sort of personal disaster. We really have a special place within CMAA, and this truly showed how special CMAA is. So I think that's where we start with 2017. From the association standpoint, we've made a lot of changes in 2017, and let me highlight a few. Our magazine, we have changed that, and you may have already forgotten about our old magazine, but if you recall, we went from 4 editions to 6, 24 pages to 48. Good stuff? Yeah. Yes, good stuff. Research is going to become and continues to grow within CMAA and will be a hallmark of CMAA. In 2017, we launched our own analytical club analytics. And this is something that our goal was to get 200 clubs. We got 400 clubs in the first year. It is an awesome way to support all clubs. And I encourage, as we continue to evolve this, you continue to participate. We also, in our industry research this year, we focused on hourly employees, which we know is a challenge. So at the end of 2017, we came out with a new research report that if you've not gotten a hold of, you can access that in the Club Resource Center. We also launched a new entry-level employment opportunities job bank, because this is an area that is critical. It is free. And at one point we had 150 jobs in there. I think right now we have about 50. And because of the seasonality of clubs, it ebbs and flows. But I hope you find that this is something where you can post your entry-level jobs, and it's a great way for students and others to get access to be able to find what openings there are. The Club Resource Center, as I just mentioned, is the home of all our research initiatives, as well as a whole portal for club education. It is something that if you've not looked at, I encourage you to look at as part of what CMAA does. The foundation is another place that CMAA has really focused on growing and evolving, and boy have we evolved. We gave out more scholarships this year. We donated more this year, and I am so proud of the fact that the board of both CMAA and the Club Foundation and all the staff were 100% givers to the foundation, as well as many of you. We continue, the more money that comes in, the more that we can do at the Club Foundation. And you'll see today there's a 50-50 raffle, not today, but today through conference there's a 50-50 raffle that's going on, and I hope you will think about that. Lots of other stuff is going on at CMAA. We did governance summits. CMAA University, which hopefully you access, had about 2,000 credit hours. BMI, there was 16 BMIs in the US before we even get outside the US. We had several conferences, from student conference to mid-management conference to our leadership conference. We are a busy organization on your behalf. Joe Mendez just got up here and talked about the bylaw changes. Your vote is important over the next few days on these bylaw changes. I just want to point out one thing, and that is managers to management. As I look down here, I see Bert Ward, and Bert told me that they've been talking about this for 20 years, about changing managers to management. Many years ago, you changed the association to allow not just managers into CMAA, but the whole management staff into CMAA. CMAA, as it stands today, is 1/3 non-managers. They are the professional staff of clubs. It is time we recognize that and create this mantle to really show who is CMAA, which is all the club professionals of CMAA. There's other stuff in there, and if you want to talk about it, there's an Ask the Leadership session this afternoon, and we're happy to talk more about that. Financially, if you've been around the past few years and heard me talk, we had some really challenging times before I got here. Here's the results of the last 3 years. I think they're pretty good results. Profitability-wise, we have been able to go from $400,000 this past year with $600,000 plus in net excess. That is the money we are using to reinvest in the association. But let's take a look and really understand what these financials mean. Let's share a couple ratios. Cash. When I started at CMAA in the beginning of October 2014, we had $1.3 million in cash. Today we have $5.2 million. That's a 277% increase. Our current ratio, which as you know is a real indicator of whether you're spending your cash before you earn it. We were at 0.47, meaning we were spending our cash before we earned it. It should be above 1. It is at 0.91. For much of this year it was above 1. We had a loan that we wanted to pay off, what brought it down, but we've made progress there at 93%. Lastly, member equity has been negative, and it's negative only because our building is on the books at cost, not the value of the building. So that's why it's negative, but you can see the improvement in member equity, your equity in the association. We have done well the past 3 years, and we'll continue on that path. If you want more, things are online. The audit and the annual report are online, as was just mentioned, under the About tab. Now I get to stand up here and talk to you and represent the association, but there's a whole team of folks behind me, not behind me literally, but behind me just as you and your clubs have a whole team supporting you. So we have 29 people at CMA National Office, and I just want to recognize them because they are truly the people that do the work for you and on your behalf. So thank you, CMA staff. Okay, let's share some good stuff that's going to happen in 2018. I've been keeping all this stuff secret, so now I get to share. Number one, research. One of our big focus areas is innovation this year. You just heard me talk about that and the partnership with Global Golf Advisors. Innovation is critical for the survivability of clubs going forward. We recently did a survey. 4.5 out of 5 says it's important, but when we talk about whether your club is innovative or not, it's like 3.29. We need to do better on innovation, so we are going to focus on that. Next, we are not only moving from analytics, club analytics, but we're moving forward in benefits, salaries and benefits this year. There are other sources for salary and benefits, but I think as you find when you're presenting your comp information to your board, that having a couple sources is absolutely vital. CMA will be a source for that. That will be available coming out shortly, starting to do the research on that and be available later in the year. Next, and very, very critical to the success of you as club professionals and our association, is that we get into a routine to continually update our CCM program. So this year we will look at our competencies and go through a competency study. I think we're going to see some new competencies show up. That will ultimately affect our curriculum, affect contemporary club management, and affect the exam. That will then become a continuous cycle of going through, because club management is not a profession that it changes over 20 years. We are now in a period where it is changing much more rapidly. So we need to make sure the CCM program is strong and up to date. So this is something that we'll be starting this year. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm also excited because yesterday the board approved a new BMI. The board approved a new BMI. So when you go through, you have 2 electives right now, BMI Golf and BMI Food and Beverage. I am so pleased to announce we now have a new elective, BMI Sports and Recreation. It is all the non-golf activities, the family activities, children's activities. Is that awesome? That is awesome. So who's going to want to sign up? I see hands. So it's going to be in Scottsdale starting in 2019, and we appreciate the Southwest chapter helping us to get this ramped up. Let's continue, more good stuff. Governance and leadership summits, which we do with our friends at Copland and Keebler, 4 of them this year. Wingfoot in May, Medina in June, September is Country Club of Rochester, and Pinehurst Country Club is in December. This is something that we started a couple years ago, and as you know, as club professionals, if you're not working well with your board, you struggle. And so we're trying to help by talking best practices, talking about trends in club management, talking about communication and how you work together as club professionals with your board chair or president. And so this is a program where the manager and the president come. And I know those of you that have attended have said it's awesome, and many of you have come back. One club brought their entire board. So this is our program for this year, and I encourage you to attend. World conferences, here we go. Nashville next year. Awesome, right? We know that. Dallas the year after that. And then we're going to Tampa. We have never been to Tampa. We are going a month after the Super Bowl is in Tampa. And we were in Tampa about 6 months ago as we looked at Tampa. And Tampa is going through a renovation and an upgrade of that city, putting new hotels in. And it is going to be a special place. Tampa is calling themselves what San Diego was 20 years ago, which was really a sleepy town, and is really starting to evolve very quickly. So we are excited to go to Tampa and then back to San Diego in 2022. Good stuff, right? And I just want to reiterate, it's sort of been said, but we haven't been in San Francisco since 1998 or 99. And attendance at this conference is 2,200 people. We are up about 10 to 15%, which is great. What I also get excited about is 3 years ago, we had 150 first-time attendees. We have almost 300 first-time attendees this year. It is awesome. Yesterday, I asked all those first-time attendees to make sure they introduce themselves to 2 people. Today, first-time attendees, I'm asking you to make sure you introduce yourself to 4 people you don't know, because that is part of CMAA. And all the rest of you, I want you to look for that B, which is a newbie on their badge, and if you see that, go up and say, "Welcome to CMAA," please. Not the please, but welcome to CMAA. What else is going on? BMI International. 2 years ago, we went to London. This year, we're going to New Zealand. It is going to be awesome. We are halfway already to the limit that we can take. We can take about 40 people, so we're at about 20. So think about it. It is going to be special, and our Kiwis are here. I heard them. And it is going to be a not-miss event. It was mentioned earlier, I think Brian mentioned the Club Spa and Fitness Association, which CMAA is managing. We will continue to manage them. Fitness, wellness, all of that is so critical to our clubs. And this is why the relationship with Club Spa and Fitness Association is something that I see as important, the board saw it as important, and by bringing that closeness together with us managing them, I think that will reap benefits for CMAA, and you'll start to see some of those next year. New association management software. This is something that our association management software, just like your back office software, you often let it go to when it's almost dying before you replace it. Ours is on its deathbed. We are about 10 years overdue in replacing our association management software. That we've been in the process of. That is where some of this money and profit is going. And next year, or this year in June, we will start to bring that up online. That also has a cascading effect, and it has a cascading effect down to our chapters. We are very focused on national chapter alignment. The benefit of CMAA is both the national and chapters. We have lots of chapters with lots of different sizes and abilities. How can we work better together to make sure that your experience is the best it can be? So we have 2 initiatives ongoing. One is an affiliation agreement. Well, what the heck is that, right? So think of a house built on dirt. Think of your clubhouse built without a foundation under it. That is in essence what CMAA has done for 90 years. So now we're going to lift that house up, build that foundation underneath with this affiliation agreement which is a legal agreement between our chapters and national, and then put that house down and then start refurbishing that house, which is multiply mutually owned by CMA National and our chapters. I'm pretty excited about this, and it's sort of a labor of love because we're about to go into the third version of that, and it's been a community effort with all our chapter officers. Next up is a Chapter National Alignment Task Force. This is a 2-year task force that we're looking at how can we evolve as an organization. Ultimately, the results of this will be the basis or part of the basis for our next strategic plan. Yeah, we're already thinking about that beyond 2020. So the results of this will come out in 2019. Many of you will be getting a survey later this year, and that will start to say, where should we put our energy? And I appreciate those that are involved in both of these initiatives. One of the real special things that the board also approved yesterday was CMA Fellows. We have lots of certification programs, our CCM, our CCE, our MCM, that people can work for. But what about looking at somebody who really has contributed to the embodiment and embodies what a club professional is and really has contributed to evolving our profession? We are going to recognize those people as CMA Fellows. It is a peer recognition process. You can't apply for this and ultimately earn it. It is a recognition from your peers. So you will be hearing more about this spring. Nominations are going to be due in June, and we're going to have our first class of CMA Fellows come on stage next year. It is truly going to be special. Now, when you think about CMA Fellows, the first year we'll probably have 10 to 20 CMA Fellows, but after that it's going to be a very select group of maybe a half a dozen each year. And there's a task force led by Damon Diorio that's been working on that. The board approved that yesterday. And I think this is an awesome way to create a hall of fame within CMA to recognize all those that have really done special things at CMA. Good stuff, right? Thank you. So I need to get out of here so we can get some people recognized for CCNs. But what I want to say is this organization is great. As you know, my contract was renewed. Thank you very much, board. Thank you. And as I look around CMA, there's just so much for us to do. And I am in a go-go mode because I want to catch us up and get us to where I think we should be and where the board wants us to be. And this is something that is a team. The board, staff, and all of you. And I so appreciate all of you that have put your hand up to be on a committee or a task force, because that is the energy that makes CMA what it is, and it is a very special organization. So with that, I am going to get out of here. If you have more questions, come to CMA's Ask the Leadership, and I'll be around all week. Please don't hesitate to ask me or any of the staff. Thank you all very much.